Talk about where the Pahalgam terror attack investigations are going, what is happening, what could happen, where should it all lead to, what actions the government of India is taking. I'm joined on the show by Dileep Sinha. He's a former senior diplomat. Also, I'm joined on the show by Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. He's the former Director General of Infantry. Thank you both gentlemen for being on the show. First to you, General Kulkarni. 6 days it's been since that ghastly terror attack took place. The people of this country are asking what is happening because, you know, it shook the very soul of this nation. The Prime Minister said the people will be, those behind these attacks will be brought to justice. But people are shaken. They're asking where is it going? In such matters, how does it proceed?
Thank you, Amrit. I think at the very outset, the very fact that the Prime Minister has made a statement that all of them will be brought to justice, you can see the panic that has taken place in Pakistan. Total panic. And that panic is visible. And why I say that panic is visible, followed immediately was the kind of, the holding in the bed, the Indus Water Treaty, telling the defense attaches of Pakistan posted here in India, the High Commission, persona non grata, all of them had to leave within a week. I think tomorrow may be their last day for leaving India, and the kind of ceremony that will take place at Atari and Wagah stopped. All of these, all Pakistanis to leave India immediately. That time it was 48 hours and probably all of them would have left by now. All this has led to total panic, and the kind of statements that are emanating from Pakistan are indicative that they really don't know what's going to hit them where. And that itself, I think, is the first step to be able to tell Pakistan that, look, you are using terror as an instrument of state policy. Enough has been enough. The water's flowed over our head. Now we have to destroy the source of terror. And that source of terror is the Pakistan military. That needs to be sorted out. And all those who are dependent on it, all those who are trained by Pakistan, and all those who are being infiltrated into India by Pakistan to cause this mayhem in India, I think they all need to be sorted out. In this, I think the entire nation of ours stands united. And that is something which is a huge, big credit that the nation stands united to fight terror. And Pakistan is in, really they really don't know what's hitting them from where. And the whole world stands united with India, except for two odd countries which have openly supported Pakistan.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me bring in Ambassador Sinha. Ambassador Sinha, how do nations react to situations like this? What General Kulkarni listed out that the government took, that was diplomatic offensive. So there is, diplomacy at work. Is there a military response? Is there an economic response? Is there a cyber response? What options do nations have to deal with situations like this to bring the perpetrators to justice?
Well, the strongest reaction we have seen in recent times was 2 years ago when the October 7 Hamas attack took place on Israel. Okay. And Israel then launched a wholesale military operation against the Hamas in Gaza. That war still going on. There are other kinds of reactions. Countries may indulge in a individual single strike, as America has done in the case of countries in the Middle East and elsewhere. There have been full-scale invasions also. Cyber attacks are a new thing. They also happen, especially Israel is known to indulge in them. In the case of India, as you remember, after Pulwama, and both after Uri and Pulwama, we had made strikes. But they were very limited strikes, and the impact was also limited. Which is why Pakistan continues with its policy of 1,000 cuts against India. Okay.
All right. General Kulkarni, information warfare has become a big, a tool in today's warfare. Today, the Indian government banned 16 Pakistani YouTube channels, sent a letter to the BBC saying that you're misreporting, you're calling terrorists, because what happened was clearly an act of terror. You're calling them militants. How does information warfare play? What could India do?
I think there were both kinetic and non-kinetic steps that India had to take.
Okay.
Well, the kinetic, of course, we have a lot of options on the table, and the government are mulling over it as to what is to be done. As far as the non-kinetic steps are concerned, all of these, banning the YouTube channels, propaganda warfare, maybe even resorting to cyber, monitoring all kinds of conversations that they may be having, water as one of the steps, not that the water stops immediately, but the data sharing stops immediately. So you're not sharing the data when the water is going to be released, how it will be released, what time it will be released, leading to panic on the other side. Because every time all the data is shared, the farmers on the other side really know that water will be open, the gates open between 4 and 6 in the evening, and therefore so and so the following villages will stand to benefit and all that. So all that information goes off to them and nothing. Now the ceasefire part of it, you find that the ceasefire is no more holding, so it's almost free for all. Whatever the Pakistan attempts to do, we retaliate. It's a simpler agreement, virtually in suspension, if I may say. If it is suspended, then obviously the LOC becomes ex-LOC. There is no LOC. So there is adjustment going on.
Yeah, General, as a military man, let me ask you, why is Pakistan resorting to small arms firing on the LOC? If they claim that they have nothing to do with it, that this was indigenous, well, they call it a false flag operation, but even if we keep that aside, they say they could be Kashmiri militants, etc. But why are they then why is the Pakistan army resorting to small arms firing along the LOC?
The small arms firing is again primarily to push as many terrorists that they can, as many people as they can, because they feel that yes, a threat is imminent. Now their country is in danger. Push as many people as you can and be able to convey that do not. Now in any case, as per the similar agreement, it was the LOC.
No, so you saying push as many people, you saying that's cover fire for infiltrators? Is infiltration still going on?
See, firstly for the infiltrators, and secondly to be able to see, till such time the ceasefire was there was no small arms fire, no artillery fire, it was almost on hold. But now that particular restriction is gone. So they don't want that there's any attack should come on to their post. And presuming that the Indians may attack them, they constantly keep firing, Again, at this point of time, numerous times, it so happens when you're firing even small arms, in that there is an ammunition which can set fire the grass. So at this, if it is dry grass, it sets fire. You find there will be forest fires all over the countryside, including the artillery fire or the mortar fire that they may do. So Pakistan attempts to do as much delay, damage, plus psychologically they feel rather empowered. Yeah, they are being able to push back or being able to hold on to the post till the retaliation starts for them. So at this point of time, I think Pakistan is in panic. They really don't know what is going to hit them from where. And all these talks that you hear from their ministers talking about the kind of missiles that they have, the kind of nuclear bluff that they wish to say, and even attempting to say they're freedom fighters, then yet another minister will say, who's the defense minister, that we are sorry that for the last 30 years we've been in fact training the terrorists, all that on behest of America, and today we've been put to shame. All these talks are coming out, even that since the Prime Minister of ours has been saying again and again that water and blood cannot flow together. Then you have another, Bilawal Bhutto, saying, no, we will ensure that the blood will flow, the water is stopped. All these talks are indicative of panic in Pakistan. And if there is panic in Pakistan, and since 2016, when the Uri attack took place, the eastern canals or the eastern river water of the Indus Water Treaty, much that it has happened. Today we are able to utilize almost over 95% of the water of the three rivers, that is Ravi, Beas and Satluj. So all this is now causing tremendous concern in Pakistan, and they really don't know what India would do next, because they feel that, well, after Uri there was surgical strike, after Pulwama there were strikes at Balakot. What would India do next? Now they really don't know, and the Prime Minister has been saying that, look, he is going to take unimaginative, they cannot even imagine what is going to hit them. So that talk earlier had resulted in absolute action on ground. So that is what is now making Pakistan really jittery, and they really don't know. And I'm glad at least even the non-kinetic has shaken Pakistan. You can well imagine when kinetic steps are taken, what will happen of that country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ambassador Sinha, announcing putting IWT in abeyance or the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance is one thing, but to actually stop water from completely flowing, or would it rattle Pakistan enough? Because if you want to really do that, it's a long-term process of building canals, diverting waters. All you have right now is run-off river dams. You need to build, dams where you can store water. So will that rattle Pakistan enough? Has it rattled Pakistan enough?
It certainly has rattled Pakistan, but abeyance remains a temporary measure.
Okay.
Because abeyance does not mean abrogation. And abeyance will make sense only if it is a prelude to abrogation. And the reason for this is that the Indus Waters Treaty has a very strong dispute settlement mechanism, and whatever steps we take in this interim period when the treaty is kept in abeyance, once the treaty is reactivated, Pakistan will come back and demand that all these steps taken by India, all the structures built by India, be dismantled, and it will take all those to the dispute settlement mechanism. So this abeyance thing will make sense only if it is a prelude to cancellation or abrogation of the treaty, because this treaty was a very one-sided treaty where we gave away 80% of the water to Pakistan, and this 80% is from the region of Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir. The three rivers are the main rivers of Ladakh, Kashmir and Jammu. Indus for Ladakh, Jhelum for Kashmir and Chenab for Jammu. So the interests of these states were sacrificed, and the Jammu Kashmir Assembly had actually passed a resolution against this treaty. Now, for Pakistan,
and India also wanted to revisit this treaty, even before this.
Pakistan has been abusing the treaty. Pakistan has been objecting to every project that India tries to construct in Jammu and Kashmir, because under the treaty we have the right to make run of the river projects for hydroelectricity. But there are very strict regulations regarding the design and the kind of pondage these dams can have. Now, Pakistan has been objecting to all the designs, all the projects of India. So many of our projects have been kept on hold. One of our dams has actually silted because of the objections of Pakistan. We took the matter to the dispute settlement. We won 2 of the cases. Pakistan has been obstructing continuously, as a result of which our projects have got delayed. Last year we proposed to Pakistan that there should be a revision of the treaty. Pakistan rejected that. Pakistan is not prepared to conform to the spirit of the treaty, which is to have a collective and cooperative use of the water, optimize the utilization. Now, in the circumstances, there is no reason why India should sacrifice its interests. We are also water-starved, and this water is our water. No other upper riparian in the world has given this kind of a right to its lower riparian.
And also when you do not follow... Exactly. I mean, that's about the water treaty, but also when you do not follow international norms on basic things like terrorism, then what treaties is India, obliged to keep? But Ambassador Sinha, on the diplomatic front, is Pakistan's narrative cutting ice around the world?
No, on the diplomatic front, it's not able to move forward at all, except its old friend and all-weather friend, as they call it, China, which has expressed support for China's demand that there should be an impartial inquiry into the incident. Otherwise, China also had condemned the attack. Now, in the Security Council, Pakistan has been able to dilute the press statement. It's not a Security Council resolution that's been adopted. It's a press statement, which is the lowest form of statement that the Security Council issues. And in that, unlike in the case of Pulwama, when the press statement had strongly condemned the attack, this time there is no condemnation of the attack, merely expression of condolence for the families and the demand that that the perpetrators and the sponsors should be
No,
brought to justice.
sir, condemnation is there. I'll read from the statement. It says the council condemned in the strongest terms the terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir and urged the states to bring faceless perpetrators to justice. Now, what they really haven't done is they haven't named the TRF, which itself had claimed responsibility for it. As if on cue, after this press statement, the TRF retracts its claim and blames Indian cyber agencies, saying, well, they manipulated it and stuff like that after the press statement. So they haven't named the TRF. And the other thing is, they haven't said that they should cooperate with the Indian government to bring the perpetrators to justice. They've said they should coordinate and collaborate with the concerned agencies, which in this case could mean anyone, to find those behind the terror acts. Now that leaves a very vague plane. So why does this kind of a statement, if the world is listening, if the world is really listening to our point of view?
Well, you must remember that the polarization that has taken place in the world over the last few years has resulted in the Security Council becoming quite hamstrung by the veto. Now, for example, when the October attack took place on Israel, there were resolutions that were vetoed by both sides. So, in these cases, it is not a resolution that is adopted by the Security Council, but the lowest form of a statement, which is a press statement, is issued, which is discussed by the member states, essentially by the 5 permanent members.
Okay.
And they issue a statement on behalf of all. And clearly, since Pakistan is a member of the Security Council right now, it has been able to influence
leverage that leverage that to its advantage. General Kulkarni, I'll have to close this. My producer tells I'm totally out of time. Very succinctly, if you could say, what could India do for Pakistan to realize that the red lines of India, they must respect in whatever way, militarily, diplomatically, economically, etc. What could India do? What should be the strategy?
All steps, militarily, diplomatically, politically, economically, all steps. But definitely militarily to destroy the source of terror in Pakistan. There is no denying the fact. At the same time, the complete network, even if it exists in India, that also ought to be destroyed totally. Until and unless the entire terror network is destroyed, it would not help to eradicate terrorism. They can do whatsoever. They can be victims, perpetrators in their own country. Should they do it in India, they will suffer and the cost will be very, very high for them. That must be known. And this is the time, because enough is enough. And this kind of a thing cannot be repeated by Pakistan here and again. And that message has to be conveyed, and conveyed by doing it on ground. And all means available.
But if we do it on ground, they will hit back, and we should be ready for taking a bit of that hit too.
Of course, they will hit back. They will retaliate. And we have to be prepared to be able to take on to that retaliation and be able to isolate and make an example of Pakistan that this is not acceptable to us.
All right. We leave it there. Thank you both gentlemen, Ambassador Dilip Sinha and General Kulkarni, for being on the show and sharing your insights with us. Thank you.